Responsibilities. Coaches need to be aware of the child protection procedures. Before working with any children, coaches must be CRB checked to check any previous criminal records, and if so, will be listed, and the organisation potentially employing them will decide after giving feedback from the Criminal Records Bureau. In some circumstances, especially when working with young children, they may not be allowed to work, particularly if they are registered sex offender or those with abusive and violent records. Children Act helps to improve their health and development and well-being. The Act enforces the duties carried out by the coach to provide planned and supervised activities for children at all times, and consulting with the correct authorities, especially in circumstances regarding drug use and abuse. Coaches have laws to protect them as well as the performers. These laws are generally formed due to something that happened in the past, and to prevent that same thing from happening again. Sports bodies take these precautions as such a message to ensure players are safe. For example, a coach must be reviewing and monitoring the services offered to ensure they are safe for players, as they have a duty of care. Coaches are legally not allowed to offer advice beyond their capability. For example, a level 1 tennis coach cannot teach an elite squad because they are not qualified to do the job. Although in real life, some parents have football training at the weekend for young kids to help the community by volunteering to run a session. Although these parents must have access to health and safety records just in case an accident were to happen. In order to become a registered service, all of its facilities and the organisation, including its employees, needs to be assessed. Coaches must be able to recognise the forms of abuse. Physical abuse, which is unexplained bruising, cuts, must be reported by the coach to a higher authority or a representative of the club. They should also look out for signs of sexual abuse. Adults could use children to meet their sexual needs, which can be demonstrated when a child demonstrates over sexualized behaviour. So this should be looked out for and reported to higher authorities. Emotional abuse, persistent lack of love may be indicated by showing withdrawal symptoms from social contact in training sessions. Neglect is failure to meet the basic needs of parenting, like providing food and warmth, clothing, which is obvious from the child's appearance. If these signs are spotted, then a few questions should be asked and be reassuring and kept in a calm, professional manner, and make a record of what the child has said. It should be then passed to the child protection officer or straight to the police, as the child could be in danger. Insurance. Sports coaches are required to have the correct insurance to cover and protect it if an incident occurs, because they are under their supervision. If something has to go wrong, they will be deemed negligent. Luckily, employer liability helps protect coaches against compensation claims. Without this, it can result in a hefty fine for the organisation, which may mean they may not be able to carry out the normal service. For example, a kayaking business will be able to carry out their everyday services without the worry of claims against them if something was to go wrong. Regulations require business equipment insurance to be used, which covers the loss or damage of kit. This is useful in sports like cricket, where many pieces of equipment is needed to train and play, and can be expensive. It is more relevant of the business to sports like trampolining compared to football, where trampoline will cost a few pounds, if a couple of cones get nicked, then the the cost of the cones would be about £10. This allows businesses to run knowing that any damages are covered by insurance, giving the coaches confidence. Although an incident may never occur, which is a bonus, but money is spent protecting something that may never occur, meaning money could be spent on more elsewhere, like more trampolines, or get people into the sport. Public liability insurance covers the cost of the claims made by the members of the public for incidents that occur in connection with your business activities. Public liability insurance is compensation for personal injuries or loss or damage to property. Overall, this will protect you from a claim should someone you are coaching or a member of the public get injured. Different sports have higher levels of risk, so it's seen less or more important depending on what sport. For example, golf will have a relatively low want to purchase public liability insurance compared to that of a rugby club's public liability insurance need. Professional conduct. A coach should always behave appropriately and promote a positive fair play attitude, because the conduct that the coach portrays will determine the future behaviour of the athletes you coach. A great coach will demonstrate a clear knowledge of the sport and dress appropriately for the session ahead. For example, if a football coach has promoted foul play, then it may become repetitive, and therefore young players who admire the coach and believe they are significant will follow the negative behaviour on the pitch, due to social learning theory suggesting we copy from significant others. For example, a football coach constantly shouting at the referee for fouls that may have been missed would indicate to the parents poor gamesmanship. The coach should speak clearly and use the correct language that the performer will understand. The use of the demonstration will help get across the message and should highlight important cues to focus on. Other methods, such as verbal guidance, should be used alongside visual to enhance the learning of the skill and improve the abilities of players. When using manual guidance, coaches should be careful of where to position themselves for the performer, as this can become inappropriate if not done in a professional way. For example, a gymnastics coach having generate a kinesthesis of a vault over a box. Reward the effort, coaches respect the dignity and the rights and the works of all these part in the sport. They have done so because they must have the correct coaching qualifications. Respect all athletes with all abilities. It's not just the best way to improve those individuals, but must improve all individuals collectively. By rewarding the players straight after it reinforces the stimulus-response bond, and learning will become quicker. If a reward is given after several correct responses, learning takes longer time, but it lasts longer. A good sporting example is a cricket coach given praise after multiple correct shots from a bowling machine. Health and safety. The coach has a key responsibility of constantly assessing the safety of others. This is put into full force when working with anyone under the age of 18 when it comes to their duty of care. At the start of each session, a risk assessment must be carried out to ensure precautions are taken to prevent maximal injury or harm. If the risk of injury is high, the drill should be tapered down to minimise the risk to avoid injury. If an accident does happen, procedures are in place to deal with them and know how to carry it out. Coaches may be valuable if they are first aid trained, and if the coach does not have this qualification, then they should make sure someone is on standby who deserves who does have it, e.g. an assistant coach. For example, in rugby, uh, a manager who manages the players in order to get the best out of their players. An assistant coach can stand by for his first day trained and his qualification to do a concussion test. There are two major causes of injury: extrinsic, outside the body, that may cause injury, and intrinsic, physical aspect that may cause injury. Extrinsic factors that may cause harm in a game of football would be an icy pitch, which may cut or injure the player who attempts to slide at it. Therefore, due to health and safety, the game should be postponed until it thaws out or be cancelled altogether due to icy conditions. This happens a lot in Sunday League football, where teams have to postpone matches because the ground is too dangerous to play on, as there is an extremely high chance of injury. Performers should seek assistance if a major collision has happened and caused bleeding on the head, developing large injury or bruising, a minor injury like a muscle strain, or they become ill and start vomiting and become dizzy, which may be down to the concussion. For example, a knee to the head in American football may cause a large bump on the head and will cause concussion depending on how hard the hit was. If the coach suspects concussion, then the performer is legally not allowed to continue playing and must go on for further treatment.